Leave Iran now. It is confirmed. The worst is coming into a dangerous reality. The United States will attack Iran any time now. The latest advisory for Americans living in Shiite nation signals possible attack, and the Middle East is already shaking. The virtual embassy of the U.S. in Iran called on Americans to immediately leave the Islamic Republic. The message said, "Leave Iran now." What adds more panic is this line in the advisory: if this is not possible, Americans should find a safe place and stock up on food, water, and medicine, or else run to Armenia and Turkey. The advisory emphasized that people should organize their departure independently, given limitations on official evacuation support. Nationwide protests in Iran have triggered increased security measures, including road closures, disruptions to public transport, and ongoing internet blockages that hinder access to mobile, landline, and national online networks. Airlines have continued to limit or cancel flights to and from the country, adding further uncertainty for travelers attempting to leave. Those unable to leave immediately were advised to find a secure location within their residence or another safe building, and to maintain essential supplies, including food, water, and medications. The U.S. Virtual Embassy Iran also added, "The U.S. government cannot guarantee your safety if you choose to depart using the following options. You should leave only if you believe it is safe to do so." The advisory also comes at a time when Iran is still recovering from massive protests that had shaken Tehran recently. It also comes as delegations from the U.S. and Iran are meeting in Oman on February 6th to discuss Tehran's nuclear program to defuse tension. But the tensions are only soaring. Donald Trump has moved an armada towards Iran.
Ask Iran. They're negotiating now. They don't want us to hit them. We have a big fleet going over there.
U.S. defense officials said that Washington is strengthening air and missile defenses across the Middle East as part of preparations for possible Iranian retaliation in the event of future U.S. military action. The Pentagon is deploying an additional Terminal High Altitude Area Defense, or THAAD, battery, and more Patriot missile defense systems to locations where U.S. forces are stationed, including Jordan, Kuwait, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. U.S. officials who spoke to the Wall Street Journal said this. Remember, Iran has declared its readiness to respond to any attack by Washington, even a limited one. The range of Iranian missiles is sufficient to reach American bases in the region. Tehran has already cleared that it will hit American facilities in the region if threatened. The U.S. Navy has also deployed multiple guided missile destroyers in the region, capable of intercepting aerial threats like missiles and drones. A U.S. Navy official said that ships are operating near the Strait of Hormuz, in the North Arabian Sea, in the Red Sea near Israel, and in the Eastern Mediterranean. Additional air power has been repositioned closer to the region, including F-15E fighter squadrons in Jordan and U.S. F-35 aircraft that recently transited through Europe. The skies over the Middle East are getting busier, and the timing is no coincidence. As tensions between Washington and Tehran sharpen, the United States is quietly positioning some of its most sensitive military assets closer to Iran's doorstep. A third U.S. Air Force E-11A battlefield communications aircraft has now arrived in the region, touching down at Prince Sultan Air Base in Saudi Arabia after departing from Crete. These aircraft are not fighters, they are command hubs in the sky, designed to link ships, drones, jets, and ground forces across vast distances, securely and in real time. The most specialized aircraft show up last, according to plane tracking analyst Stephen Watkins, quoted by BBC Verify. That they're here now means they have work to do. And the E-11A is just one piece of a much larger buildup. Satellite imagery analyzed by BBC Verify shows F-15 fighter jets, A-10 ground attack aircraft, and an MQ-9 Reaper combat drone deployed to Jordan. In the waters nearby, a guided missile destroyer has transited from the Mediterranean into the Red Sea. High above the Gulf, U.S. surveillance drones and reconnaissance aircraft are now operating with increasing frequency. Even Europe is feeling the tempo. At Spangdahlem Air Base in Germany, a key NATO hub, U.S. Air Force operations have shifted to 24/7 activity, a rare move, confirmed through intercepted aviation communications. One American transport aircraft heading to Saudi Arabia was told bluntly, the base is open around the clock due to operational demand. At sea, the pressure is just as visible. New footage released by U.S. Central Command shows a crowded and fast-moving flight deck aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln, with jets launching and recovering in a tightly choreographed rhythm, a floating signal of readiness. All of this is unfolding as diplomacy enters a critical phase. In Doha, Jared Kushner and U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff have arrived ahead of planned nuclear talks with Iran in Oman. And from Tehran, Iran's foreign minister Syed Abbas Araghchi has departed for Muscat, leading a delegation for negotiations he describes as serious, principled, and aimed at a fair agreement. Iran insists it has not forgotten past betrayals, sanctions, or military pressure, but says it will not walk away from diplomacy if there is a genuine opportunity to protect national interests and regional stability. So now, two tracks run side by side, a growing U.S. military footprint across the Gulf, and a fragile diplomacy opening behind closed doors. The question hanging over the region is stark. Is this buildup meant to back diplomacy or prepare for what happens if talks fail?